So, of course, that's, as I said, that's why one of the explanations of that kind of recognition is being, consciousness. Consciousness also not only implying that you are consciousness, but also that you recognize it. There's that moment of recognition, and that moment of recognition is bliss, happiness, well-being. I like to call it irrational happiness. Because there's no reason for the happiness necessarily. Do you know? You can't point to it other than the recognition. You can't point to anything that's happening and saying, this happened in my life and therefore I feel really good, you know? Whereas when we're in our egos, happiness is always defined by something good that's happening. Some event, some meeting, something that's actually happening. That's sort of the feeling of happiness that makes sense, you know. This happened, everything went my way, and I feel happy about it, you know. Of course, it's temporary. You know? It's just a matter of time until something doesn't go your way, and then on the ego level, you lose your happiness. On the level of soul, or being, or consciousness, you could use any of these words, on that level, you could be in the moment of recognitions and things could very much go in a way that some people may say isn't going your way, and you'll be happy anyway. You may be challenged. Doesn't mean you'll never feel challenged, but there's that underlying sense of happiness. It's just part of that recognition. And when people recognize that recognition can either be a temporary recognition, it's always rather sudden, usually, a temporary recognition, or a permanent recognition. In other words, you can sort of recognize it. Oh, that's what I am. Oh, lovely. And the great relief of that, the great happiness of that, and then at another moment it might seem to just kind of wither away, you know, and disappear, which will leave you really, really wanting it, do you know? In fact, a lot of people's spiritual lives begin through some little brief moment of recognition. It's like the little aperture opens up and all of a sudden there's this great sense of well-being and happiness and absolute okayness, and then maybe it closes down, do you know? And then you start on a spiritual search. Which is both fortunate and unfortunate, you know. It's fortunate in the sense that at least you're starting to move in that direction consciously. It's also unfortunate that the whole nature of seeking seems to keep reinforcing that what you're looking for isn't present now. You know, that's the drawback to seeking, that's the trick of it. That's the sleight of hand, that anytime we're seeking for something, especially anything that's spiritual, that has to do with truth and reality, the seeking itself makes it appear as though what we're seeking isn't now completely at hand. And of course, it is, because reality can't not be close at hand. Do you know what I mean? Being reality, it can't not be there. Do you know? Illusion can come and go. Do you know? You can delude yourself and then you can undelude yourself. But reality, you can become aware of it and then you can become unaware of it. But reality never goes anywhere. Do you know? So like one old Zen guy that said, yes, it's true that everything, every single one and every single thing and every particle of existence is inherently already enlightened, and yet a fat lot of good it does you if you don't know it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like somebody that you find out at the end of your life, you know, with your last breath, someone comes up and said, oh, you never got the note that I put $1 billion in your bank account at birth? Your mom was supposed to tell you. You know, you had the money all along, but thanks, you know, that really helps me now. So the moment of recognizing, you know, on many different levels is all important. And also on that level of soul, that level of consciousness, that recognition, when we recognize it in ourselves, we can recognize it in anybody and everybody. No matter how confused they are, you can just look at them and you can see that they are this exact same pure, beautiful essence. They may be confused, they may not be, they may be totally clear, but it doesn't matter. Their essence is exactly the same.